Our first topic is long-distance relationships, and they can be quite a challenge. They can also be worth the time spent apart if those lovely, precious moments together are actually lovely and filled with love and joy. But one woman's surprise visit to her boyfriend has stunned TikTok users who were less than impressed with, what shall I say, her boyfriend's rather subdued reaction. Have a look.
I travelled from America to Sweden to surprise my long-distance boyfriend.
So get up! Get up! So what do you think? I mean, the thing is, in his defence, to start with, I mean, it goes on a little bit longer than that. You know, sometimes when people surprise you, you are genuinely surprised. So your brain is kind of going, you're not supposed to be here, what are you doing here? But it went on a bit too long.
Where did she come from?
I don't know.
America.
She flew
She went from
America
America to Sweden.
Oh, did she?
Yeah. Yeah, and you're kind of like, OK, he's shocked, he's a bit like, and then you're like, he's still just laying on the sofa, giving her nothing.
This is not an innuendo, but sometimes in a relationship, you've got to know when to fake it. And in that situation, if you are shocked, you've also got to feign excitement, because you know it matters to the person. So I've been in those situations sometimes where someone's thrown a surprise for me, and even if I'm like, oh, God, oh, my God, thank you. You know, we all know how to do that.
Even
I think
if you
that's
guessed
courtesy.
it. Even if you guessed. But your girlfriend lives in Indonesia
Yeah,
at the
she
moment.
does.
So how do you make this relationship work when you're so far away from each other?
Oh, there we go. Don't know where you got that one from.
They always pop things up.
Yeah, oh my God, where'd you get that? I feel blindsided.
We find everything.
They go through your phone before that.
Communication is the most important thing, and then really making time to invest in the relationship and holding it as a priority in the same way that you do for things that are in a closer proximity. So my work is obviously always going to be the thing nagging me within 1 metre of wherever I am, but I have to make the decision that my relationship, although it's geographically further away, it's actually as important as all of those things, which means FaceTimes. Even when I'm doing Dragon's Den at the moment, during filming, when I go in between a pitch, we'll sometimes FaceTime or I'll send her a voice note. And it's not necessarily...
What about when you get together? Because you know, you, Michelle, you spend a lot of time apart with your work, and we all know that, and you're very open about it. But do you sometimes think there's pressure when you haven't seen each other for a while, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, sometimes longer? There's this kind of pressure that guy's kind of like, oh, she's arrived, and we all want him to jump up and hug her and kiss her like they do in the movies. Do you think there is a pressure to have this kind of perfect reunion whenever you meet up again?
Yeah, Stephen's like... yeah, no, I mean, I think that if you're in love and you're in a happy relationship, when you first see each other, it's the best feeling in the world, you know, even if it's been 2 days. But I do think in our earlier days of being apart, we were expecting a lot when we got back together, and if there was a bit of a silent patch in this amazing moment... Why are you being silent? Is there a problem? But you've just got to learn that you've been together a long time. I think we've been, like, 10 years now, and, you know, even if it's been... 3 weeks.
You think 10 years.
Yeah, oh. Let me get it's
I'm not calling you out.
Just trying to get him in trouble.
Do you know what I mean? I'm going. I think it's 10 years, yeah. But when you've not seen each other for 3 weeks, you know, you see each other, it's exciting at first, but then, of course, you quickly go back to being a 10-year relationship, which is still amazing, but it's not that, oh, my God, it's so good to see you. So, yeah, there is a bit of pressure on that, but I think as long as you communicate, and as Stephen was saying, communication is so important.
But do you not find sometimes you row? You know, you haven't seen each other, you want it to be so perfect that sometimes you end up having a row because everyone wants it to be so lovely, something goes wrong and it can create an argument sometimes.
Yeah, so when I fly from London to Indonesia and Bali, where my girlfriend lives, usually in that first couple of days, usually the first day, there will be some kind of friction which we have to resolve. And it's what I've come to learn is it's this adjustment of me coming from London with my work mindset to Bali, where it's very, very laid back, it's very hot. Not only am I contending with jet lag, I'm also trying to slow down and be present with her when my mind is thinking emails, work, etc. So we always have our first little friction when I land in the first 24 hours.
What kind of thing would set it off? Is it normally something really stupid?
Honestly, it's technology-related often.
Oh, right. Like
get off your phone.
Does that mean you're on your phone?
Yeah, or just the first day we land, I might be a little bit too quick to check my emails or be on work, and she's thinking, you've just landed, we've not seen each other for a month, like, you should be 100% present. And actually, we've resolved this by literally last time when I landed a week ago, just pointing out, going, isn't it interesting, on the first day when I land, we always seem to have an argument. Why is that? And then having a really mature
Let's get it out the
conversation.
way now.
Yeah, what's bothering you? What's bothering
I
me?
I mentioned Piers Morgan gave you some advice about the amount of time to spend apart. Why was that? What did he say?
I think, like, backing up what Stephen just said, I think the longer you go, the more pressure there is, because the longer it's been, it's, oh, we've not seen each other for 6 weeks. We've got to make this so special. But again, you're still a relationship that's been together for so long. But I was in LA and I was having dinner with Piers and I was talking about the difficult... This was at first, when I first moved to LA. And I was saying, yeah, it's hard. I miss her. Which, by the way, it's a positive that it's hard, because that means you miss your partner, right? If you didn't miss them, then that's the problem. And Piers said to me, I had this with my wife when I first moved to LA, and we made a rule, the 3-week rule. The minute it goes over that, it starts to become more difficult, and then the pressure is on when you see each other. But if you keep it within 3 weeks, then it will never get to that point of, it's been so long, there's so much pressure.
That's interesting, actually, isn't it? 3 weeks if you can.
I think if you can, yeah. I mean, she's in Australia right now, isn't
Yeah.
she? So it must be harder to stick to that.
Yeah, no, it is harder, but you just got to do it. Like when I lived in LA, and once Piers told me that, I said, let's try it. And every 3 weeks I'd get on a plane. Sometimes I'd go home for a weekend. And it's tough and it's a lot of flying, but you've got to, it's more important.
Got to make the effort, haven't you?
Make the effort, exactly.